Right, in this vlog I thought I'd just give a quick update on what's going on at the moment and talk about a bit about recent videos. Little Tuck now has an engine cover from the spares car, currently held on with a little bow, and has basically been razzing up and down the driveway just to prove the mechanicals all work, and yeah, they do, so that's all very pleasing. At the moment I've got the Honda in the workshop. No, it's not just on the trolley jack, there are axle stands further back. Doing a brake overhaul on this one. Just get in and have a look. The yeah, the brakes aren't very good. Got a seized piston by the look of it in that caliper, so currently investigating my options there. Elsewhere on the driveway, the Nippa and the Lexus are doing well. I've done a really poor job of cleaning the Lexus. It's very mucky indeed, but it got covered in bird poo, so we went to look at starlings the other day. And as for Ellie, well, she's now sort of back to health again. Trying to investigate the starting issues, but not helped by the fact that yesterday I couldn't get her to start, and it turned out there was an ignition wire in that wonderful rat's nest of wiring that had come undone, so that explained that one. That was nice and easy to solve. This is where the parts car sits, down the mucky end of the garden, and here is little Ellie. Managed to sort the suspension out and replace the missing bolts, so she's once more riding as beautifully as she ever did, so in fine fettle. I just wanted to have a quick chat about auto testing and Autosolo events. You obviously saw in my last video I took Ellie on an Autosolo, and yeah, what a laugh that was. It was ridiculous fun. It's hard to put into words just how much fun it was. So fortunately I did a lot of smiling to camera and I think you could see it. But an Autosolo differs from an auto test because there's no reversing. 2CVs very stable going forwards, but they're not stable going backwards. You can turn one over quite easily. So I've never wanted to do an auto test in a 2CV, but Autosolo gave me the option of having a go. So many thanks to the Accrington Motorsport Club for putting on that event. It was huge fun, and in terms of cost, I mean, obviously it cost me a fair bit to get to Blackburn, but there are motor clubs all around the UK, so you shouldn't have to travel too far to find one. I joined the club last year for £5 for a year's membership, and the event itself costs £30, so it's cheap motorsport and cheap fun. I mean, I had an absolute whale of a time, and you could see the other cars tearing around. They were having great fun as well. Lots of K11 Micras. They're a firm favourite because they tend to be quite zingy, quite stable, and you can really chuck the little things around. And I'm quite tempted to get a better car just for having a go on Autosolos. I think they're huge fun. I mean, I had fun in Ellie, and it would be nice to see more old cars doing it. The Vintage Sports Car Club, which caters for cars generally before 1931, puts on tests and events and stuff like that all around the UK, and you get to watch these vintage cars being driven in anger in much the same way as we did on the Autosolo. And yeah, I take my hats off to those chaps, because those cars are not easy to drive, whereas the 2CV, really quite simple. And I think some of you were surprised by the acceleration, but remember, very low weight, very low gearing, so she gets off the line quite well. It's just as the speed builds, then she starts running out of puff. But on an Autosolo, that's not so much of an issue. Some other people were asking about times of people going around that Autosolo. You're not aiming for the best time necessarily. There isn't a prize for the fastest. It's all done on a cumulative scale, so all the times of over 10 runs, or I think people were doing more like 16 runs, I did 10. They all get added up into a big total at the end, and because I retired, my total was enormous, so we won't go there. But in terms of actually lapse time, I mean, I got down to 43 seconds dead. A Mazda MX-5 driven well was going round in 34 seconds. So it shows you what a gulf there is, you know, an actual sports car against a 2CV, even on a tiny little course like that. Oh, sorry about that. That video got ended because a phone call came in from someone claiming to be HM Revenue and Customs telling me my house is under surveillance and I may be in great danger. Well, they're hiding themselves well, aren't they? So anyway, back to the point. But yeah, the Haynes kit car, which had a V6 in it, that was no faster than the MX-5s. In fact, I think one of the problems was he was having great trouble putting the power down. Lots of one tyre fires, as they say. I mean, you could hear Ellie was squealing a bit, but let's have a look at the tyres. Just check there is some rubber left. You see, they're not completely bald. They were working hard, but we haven't ripped them completely to pieces. These are Toyo 135s, by the way, the same tyres used by the 2CV race series. Yes, there is a race series for 2CVs. They still have a 24-hour race every year. Yeah, some people are just crazy. In fact, if you look back through my videos, you'll see where I drove a road legal race 2CV to see how it compared to Ellie. And yeah, in some ways better, and in many ways much worse. I prefer 2CVs to have actual suspension and comedy body roll. But anyway, yeah, that was my thoughts on Autosolo. Very cheap, very enjoyable. I'd love to have a go at a production car trial next, which is where you kind of, it's like an auto test but on an off-road course, and the trick is to not stop moving. So you're going around ground you think would only be okay for 4x4s, but you're doing it in normal cars, so it puts a huge onus on driver skill. And I do like to think I've got some, but a production car trial might well reveal whether I do or not. Again, 2CV not ideal. The handbrake's on the wrong end, so you can't help yourself around corners, sharp turns. The steering lock isn't brilliant, and being front wheel drive going uphill is always a challenge. Hillman Imps and Volkswagen Beetles are always surprisingly good at production car trials, because you've got all the weight over the back wheel, so when you're trying to get up a hill you've got traction ahoy, whereas in a 2CV all the weight comes off the front wheels and you end up struggling a bit. I know someone who ran a 2CV with 2 spare tyres on the front end just to try and get a bit more weight over those driven wheels. But yeah, I don't want to modify Ellie, I just like having fun in my 2CV, just proving what a capable little car they are, and I hope you've enjoyed those videos as well. And that's about it for this video, so I shall say thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and then you'll be told whenever there are any Project Invacar updates or any new videos from me. You'll also get told if there is a live broadcast from me, and I'm hoping to do a few more of those in the coming month. Some will be live from another car show at the NEC in Birmingham. Should be fun. So until then, farewell, and I shall see you again in a future video.